Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. And I never know exactly how to start the show because we've got hopefully a bunch of new listeners. And I got to let them know what this is all about because we are kind of unique. We got a huge number of regular followers, been following us for years, Earl Store on Cars. And, they know that this is a show about how not to be ripped off by your car dealer. And they know that it's also about how to take care of yourself when you're getting a car maintained or repaired. And car dealers have a terrible reputation. They have for over 100 years. So we got two people, two groups that hopefully are listening. And whichever group you're a member of, you got to know that, how do I say this without sounding dramatic? The world is in turmoil. And I have to keep reminding myself that automobiles are only a part of the problem. Manufacturing, retailing, and a lot of other things. World War is another issue. We've got a thing going on now with Iran and in Israel and the United States, and involvement of everybody in the world in these types of things. So I like to put things in their perspective. You buy cars and you lease cars, you maintain and repair cars. Mainly, you maintain and repair cars. So, if you're just tuning in now, our regulars, excuse me while I get repetitive, our regular listeners know that we have a man named Rick Kearney, who is a certified diagnostic master technician. And a lot of you new folks out there have got something wrong with the vehicle you drive. It might be a minor thing that you're going to ignore anyway, or you're thinking about ignoring. It might be something you don't want to ignore or can't ignore. And then, no matter what it is, in the back of your mind, you're wondering, gosh, I wonder how much this is going to cost me to get fixed. So, Rick Kearney is available to you free. That's all advertising loves that word free, but we don't have any fine print. No fine print at all. Rick's advice is free. All you have to do is dial your phone. 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. Now, Rick also monitors our YouTube channel, and a lot of you folks are streaming us. So, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. youtube.com/Earl on Cars. It might be a squeak, a rattle, or a roll. I hope it's not a roll. That's pretty serious. But if you have a noise you can't understand, but it makes you a little nervous, and maybe it's an odor. Boy, I tell you, a good diagnostic technician has got to have a good nose. You'd be surprised. You use all of your senses when you're diagnosing a vehicle's problem. Very complex. And sometimes it's a combination. It might be a rattle compared with a smell or a noise different than a rattle. Anyway, you don't want to drive into a repair shop, be it dealer or independent, and walk out with a bill that you shouldn't have to pay. I mean, today if you get out of a repair shop for less than $500, you celebrate. Sometimes it's $5,000. You don't want that. But how about $0? And if you call us at 877-960-9960, Rick Kearney, certified diagnostic master technician. Rick has worked for me for more than a quarter of a century, and I'm not just saying this because he's here to flatter him. I say this because it's true. I've never seen a guy that had more knowledge on cars, and even more so, who has kept up with the technology. I mean, a lot of these mechanics that you hear about, and they're good mechanics, they don't call them mechanics anymore. I mean, they do lovingly, but they're really computer technicians. Software is what it's all about. So the people like Rick are rare because they keep up with it. So Rick can take care of an old car with a clutch, or coils and all that kind of stuff, carburetors. But he can also fix one that's electrical, all electrical, and some that are hybrid. So he stayed up on the technology, and that's why we love him so much, because he's knowledgeable right across the board. So as I say, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, or 877-960-9960. Now, my co-host, Nancy Stewart, she's got a laptop computer in front of her, so when you call 877-960-9960, she will see it immediately, and she will put your call through. The reason I say this is that if you're a regular, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a new listener, you don't. We're on for 2 hours from 8 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday, 8 a.m. To 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the time goes by so fast because we get a lot of calls, we get a lot of texts. I'll tell you about the text number. We get YouTube, we get Facebook streamers that also contact us by posting. And so if we didn't be careful, we get to talking and the phone call would be ignored. And we've only got 5 lines. So if time is valuable to you, I know that. So if you do call 877-960-9960, whether you want to talk to Rick or me or Nancy Stewart or my son, Stu, who will be here probably around 9 o'clock, we will be available to you when you call, because callers are special. Now, I'm not telling you to call. A lot of people are nervous about calling and being on live radio or live Facebook or live YouTube. Thousands and thousands of people all over the world are watching you or listening to you. It took us a long time to get over that stage fright. I mean, if I let myself think about it, I'd probably choke up right now, but I kind of gotten used to it. So if you're nervous about that kind of exposure, we have a text number, and that text number is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. And we don't get to your text immediately, but we get to your text while we're still here. In other words, before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we gather them. So text us if you got a little stage fright, or you just don't have the time, or you don't want to get on the phone with us, whatever it is. You text us at 772-497-6530, and then we have our super line. I say super line because nobody that I know does this except the police for anonymous tips. So we have an anonymous tip line, but we call it our anonymous feedback line. Nobody knows who you are. I don't know. Nobody knows. We can't find you. We can't track you down if we don't like what you said. So we encourage total candor. And that link that you click on to give us that message is youranonymousfeedback.com. YOURANONYMOUS, anonymous feedback, like it sounds, .com. And we will take those. So I'm going to turn the microphone over now to Nancy Stewart, the love of my life, my wife, my co-host, and the co-founder of this show 20 years ago. I think it was actually 23. I don't remember what it is. But Nancy Stewart is here. She's an advocate for you women out there, and she has single-handedly built the female listenership, female listenership up to 50-50. And she has a very, very special offer. If you haven't called the show before and you're female, she'll tell you about it right now.
Thank you for that introduction. Boy, that was great.
Thank you.
I have some breaking news. Florida dealer Earl Stewart asked Jeff Bezos in the Washington Post. Have you seen it? The ad that runs in the Washington Post. And he's asking to sell Toyotas on Amazon. Take a look at this. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is, the Washington Post. And the letter that appears in the Washington Post is this weekend.
Yeah.
Exciting, breaking news.
You want a copy of it? There you go.
And here, take a look at the letter. You can take a look at the whole page.
It's got my
And
personal,
like I said, it is exciting, breaking news.
has my personal cell phone number in it, and I'll talk about that later.
As always. Yes, indeed. Okay, we are going to, I'll fill you in on a few things. We've got a whole lot to get to. We've got a lot of calls backed up. We are going to get to the mystery shopping report. We are going to talk about some diagnostic scanners. There's just so much to get to, but what's most important is our callers and our viewers, everybody, because you make the show. And the telephone number is 877-960-9960. Also, ladies, for the first 2 new lady callers, in tradition, you will receive $50 if you are a first-time female caller. So take advantage of that, the first 2 callers. Okay, we are going to open the show with a first-time female caller, and that's Claudine. Good morning, Claudine. Welcome.
Hi, Claudine. Are you out there?
I am. How are you?
Welcome.
Wonderful.
Claudine,
Great.
as a first-time caller, you won yourself $50 this morning. And when we're finished talking, please stay on the line and speak to Jeremy in our control room, and he will pass that contact information along to me, and I'll send you that check.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My question is for Rick.
Okay.
I have a hybrid RAV4 and planning to take, my partner and I plan to take a long road trip. And we're wondering if we pull off into a rest stop and relax for a couple of hours with the air conditioning on, if that will have a negative impact on the car.
No. Just like any other car, the only drawback is the engine will run at times and it will use some gasoline, but it won't hurt anything at all to sit with the windows up and enjoy that AC, keep it nice and cold, take a little break from the road. Yeah, trust me, I do understand that one. But yeah, it won't have any harmful effect whatsoever. It will, if you can, any other electrical that you might have turned on, like if you have your headlights on auto, turn those off, just for the time while you're sitting. So anything electrical that you can turn off for ease of sake, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, you're going to be just fine.
So it doesn't matter how long we just chill out on the side of the road? on the rest stop?
Nope, won't hurt it at all.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Yeah, just keep it in ready mode, so that basically just like in park, but in ready. That way it'll keep the AC blowing nice and cold for you and keep you nice and comfortable.
Thank you.
My
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Claudine, I want to take a moment and give you a personal thank you for calling the show. We are going for a 50-50% audience, and that's the way it should be. And please spread the word that we're doing that here on Earl on Cars. The platform has to be built, as I said, to 50%. So thank you for calling.
And thank you, because I've learned an awful lot. I've been watching you for about the last year, and it's amazing. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, we are going to go to Jolene. She, too, is a first-time caller.
Wow, 2 in a row.
Good morning, Jolene.
Good morning.
Welcome. You have
my
just
call.
won yourself $50 for being the second new female caller. If you stay on the line, you can give Jeremy your information, contact information, and he'll pass that to me, and I'll send you out that check.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What can we do for you today?
Well, first I want to say that I have been very pleased with Earl Stewart for almost 40 years. We've been buying cars from you, so they're
Wow.
going back
So-
a ways. Yeah, I remember first time we were at a competitor dealership, and we had a car that we were purchasing and going through the paperwork and all that. And it got to the point where the price was not the price we had agreed upon. They were adding all of these fees. And now this car that we thought was in our budget was not. And after many hours of sitting with this poor salesman, I said, we can't go through with it, all these hidden fees. And I told my husband that was it, and they couldn't believe it. You're not buying this car? And I said, no, we can't do it. And the poor guy said, I spent hours with you, and now my wife's waiting for me for dinner, and I haven't been home for dinner. And I said, well, I told my husband there's a Toyota dealership down the road, and we should try it out. And so we did. And we bought our first Prius right when Priuses just came out, and we bought several cents.
That's a long time ago, yeah.
That's a long time ago. We love the car. Now we drive a Toyota Sienna, the minivan. And I never thought we'd buy a minivan again because, the kids are all grown and everything, and now the grandkids are here, so we have the hybrid. And it was the best car we ever bought because it serves all purposes. It was just
what a great story.
Room. And my husband still likes to go to Home Depot when he can. But I just can't thank you enough. But now that we're in our golden years, and one thing that you used to do that you don't do anymore that I wanted to ask a question for is you used to honor competitors' coupons for oil changes.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't do anymore. Now that, we're projected, the centenarians are the fastest growing age group. We're projected to live 100 years or more. Yeah. We need to kind of...
Julie, that's a great question. And I think we made a mistake when we did that. We're going to go back and we're going to begin honoring coupons. And the reason we stopped is that the competitors have fine print on the coupons, and you don't see it, and it's hard for us to see it when we see the coupons. One of the things that all the other dealers do that we don't do is they charge you a junk fee. You mentioned when you tried to buy that first Toyota Prius many years ago, they had all these hidden fees, junk fees we call them now, and the service departments also have hidden fees. So when you had your car serviced at another dealership, almost without exception, I don't know of another dealership that doesn't do this, they charge you a junk fee on your service invoice. So for you listening now and all others listening, if you go into a dealership and for service, look at what they charge you for. It might be a tune-up, it might be a tire rotation, alignment, whatever. That's okay. I mean, you should get a fair price. Be sure you're getting a fair price. But at the bottom of the invoice will be another number. It could be $10, it could be $100, it could be $200, and depending on the dealership. But they charge an extra junk fee on service invoices. So the people were coming into our dealership with these coupons, and it would say instead of $50 for the oil change, we'll do the oil change for half price, $25 or something like that. They didn't see the fine print that they don't really do the oil change for $25. They do it for $45 or $55 because of the hidden junk fee on the service invoice. So we've been, I'm wrestling basically with a way that we can make that clearer to our customers. Mm-hmm. We'd be glad to meet the coupon price, but we don't want to pay, for the deception that the dealer is pulling over on the customer that thinks they're getting a better deal than they can. But you reminded me, and I actually had a complaint on that last week. And I talked to my service manager, and you just reminded me, so I will pursue that diligently and coming up with a way we can solve that problem. Maybe one way would be to mystery shop the other competitors in our neighborhood of Toyota and look at their hidden service fees. And that way we would know if you came in from Palm Beach Toyota or 441 Toyota, we would have a copy of their hidden fee to expose fully the coupon you had. But Julie, thank you so much for reminding me about that, and I promise you we will change so that we will be accepting coupons. So of course we'll have to give the full understanding and disclosure to the customer.
Right, and then make it easier to read for us senior citizens that are just trying to watch our budget more carefully, and maybe even honor, if you are a senior citizen or something, or something in that regard. It's just you have to watch it a little bit more when you get older in that older age group, because we
happen to live in a market with a lot of senior citizens, and I would say probably about half our business, because of this location we are in South Florida, are senior citizens. So that's a big market that that we need to take special care of, and you've helped me very much in doing something to improve my dealership. I thank you for the call.
Jolene, thank you so much. We truly appreciate your call this morning, and what a great call it was. And please spread the word that the platform here at Earl on Cars, we intend to build a 50-50 audience, 50% women, 50% men, and that's the way it should be. And women are in the news as a power in the auto industry, especially a financial power. And for the dealer to ignore us would be a financial disaster. So Jolene, spread the word, and I thank you.
Oh, I am, and I have. And many people have bought cars from you by spreading the word from your great service that I've experienced over the years.
Thank you for that, Jolene. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye. We're going to go to Mel, who's calling us from Boca. Good morning, Mel.
Hello, Mel.
How you doing?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good morning to everybody. I wanted to thank you again for this service every week that you do for us, and it's great. So I had called up, I guess, about a month ago, and I spoke with Rick about an issue that I had that he told me to do that worked out, and I wanted to thank him for that. It's a Camry 2010 that I had an engine check light, and I did replace the oxygen sensor, and that's what it was. So that's what he exactly said to do, and we did it.
Excellent. I'm glad it worked out for you.
I wanted to thank Rick.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I have another issue I wanted to ask. In this particular car, I have a 2010 Camry that was very rarely used. It was mostly in the garage, and now we're starting to use it more. And we noticed that when you take it out, when it hits the sun, the dashboard gets very sticky. It's almost like it's melting away.
Yep. That issue showed up probably, I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago, where, especially here in South Florida.
I think it was longer ago than that.
Yeah. But what happened was our Florida sun, and this actually was occurring in some of the other states as well, but here predominantly, especially because of the humidity we have, basically the material that Toyota was using to make the dashes would start to melt, and it would get all sticky and it would get shiny, and as people were trying to drive, it would literally reflect so much sunlight back because it was so shiny that it would almost blind you. And Earl, as a matter of fact, was he was the front runner. He got Toyota involved big time, really started pushing on corporate Toyota, and they finally actually issued what's known as a not really a safety recall, but a extended warranty. I believe at this time that has expired though now. But yeah, they put this extended warranty out, and we were literally replacing dashboards in cars right and left. I mean, we were doing probably 8 or 10 a day at our shop for quite a long while. Now I'm pretty certain that has expired, and unfortunately, those dashes are extremely expensive. So my quick recommendation, I would go on Amazon or one of the other sites.
Let me jump in there just for a second.
Sure.
Mel, are you the original owner of that car? Did you buy it new?
Well, what happened was my mother bought it new.
Okay.
And then my wife and I were taking care of him for 3 years, and she wanted me. She put it in my name, with her name too.
Yeah.
While she was alive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's my car now because we took care of him for 3 years, and so she wanted to give us something. So basically, it's my car right now, but it was very rarely used.
And I think it might technically qualify for it. The reason I asked it, there's a real long shot. But before I give you the long shot, if you want to get that repaired now, you could have it done in our dealership at our cost. In other words, whatever we pay for the dash and whatever we have to pay the technician to put the dash in, which would still be a lot of money, and it probably would not be worth your investment in that 2010, but it would be at our dead cost. The way we got that their attention, and Rick said I brought it to the attention of Toyota. Actually, I brought it to the attention of the local television station because one of our customers said, this is dangerous for me to drive because when the dash melted, the sun reflects off the melted dashboard into my eyes. So I had a little light bulb pop over my head like in the cartoons. I said, a safety problem. Because one thing that gets the attention of a manufacturer is a safety problem, because a safety problem translates into a lawsuit. So as soon as I called Toyota about a safety problem, it got their attention. Long story short, they recalled the dashes. They extended the warranty on the dashes, and what's more important, they replaced the dash with one that won't melt. And they come to find out that Honda and a number of other cars were using the same dash supplier, and it created a worldwide change in the dashes. So it's a famous moment in history that I'll never forget. But you might give it a try. It's a real long shot by using the word safety problem, and we'll be glad to run it through Toyota. Chances are 95% that they'll say no. But if you never ask, you never know. And sometimes I get surprised with the things that Toyota does both ways. They'll surprise me with things they don't do that I think they should, and then they'll come around and surprise me with things that they do that I didn't think they would. It depends on the person you're talking to. A lot of this is humanity. A caring person up in the top ranks of Toyota or Honda or any other dealership will give you a better break than a guy that's punching the clock and just doesn't care. So give it a try, and I understand exactly why you're concerned.
Right. Well, make a long story short, I did call Toyota about it.
Uh-huh.
And basically, because I asked them, what I can do, and they told me it was an enhanced recall. And like Rick said, it had expired. So I Googled it, and I found out that it is, it's almost like a seatbelt. The safety of a seatbelt, that would never expire if they had a recall on a seatbelt.
Good point.
Because it's considered safety. But this one also is safety because there's a lot of things that can happen. The glare, especially on nighttime, and also very, high sunlight. And also the components underneath it could melt, and it could have a problem with the steering or lose control of the car. And I can kill myself and kill others, and then there's a big lawsuit there.
Excellent point.
Definitely.
Excellent point. Did you put it in writing?
I just talked to them over the phone, and that's what they said. And they said that it's no longer, it's not a real safety recall. That's all I did so far, but I don't know what else to do, at this point, because
Putting something in writing is magical. And I'm being a little facetious because when something's in writing, lawyers can see it and judges can see it. And there's nothing that puts the fear of God into a manufacturer or a retailer than a letter, a complete letter, especially maybe if you copied your attorney with it. So as a last ditch effort, you might consider putting that in writing. In fact, if you have a friend who's an attorney and he won't charge you to write a letter, that'd be another way. But you have a safety issue. And what really got my attention was what you just said to me is like a seatbelt. You're absolutely right. An airbag or a seatbelt doesn't have a limited warranty. And I think the reason being the National Highway Traffic Safety Association has something to do with that. They haven't taken action on melding dashes yet. So it depends on how much time and effort you want to spend on this, but it'd be fun. I hope you do, because it'd be fun to track and see what happens. But write a letter, carbon copy your lawyer, get your lawyer to write a letter for you at a very low amount of money or none, if he's a friend. And let's see what happens. I'll call the show back.
yeah, okay. Well, I did call the National Highway Safety. And
Good.
I told them about it.
Boy, you're way ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's great.
They put in a complaint. They said that, yeah, we feel it is, but then there's nothing that they could do more. I'd have to go to the Better Business, or I'd have to go to somebody else, or
Yeah.
I just have to continue to go and go, because that's all they can do is put that in. If they get enough of those, then
Yeah.
of course they could open up something.
Yeah.
But that's may take years. It may take years to do all this.
That's what our government
So,
does. They take years to do anything, so you're right.
Absolutely. It's like
Sometimes
a,
it's a good thing.
like a domino effect. Mel, thank you so much. What a great call. And please stay in touch and let us know what direction
Okay.
this goes in.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
day,
Have a great
everybody.
weekend. We're going to go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John. Thank you for holding on.
Good morning. I have a question for Rick on gasoline engines, but first I want to give a background. In 1955, Earl and myself were in high school. Chevrolet came out with a brand new Chevrolet V8, replaced the old Blue Flame 6. Pontiac replaced the 8 and the 6 straight 8 with a V8. Oldsmobile had a Rocket 88, real fast. And the greatest one was Chrysler. They came out with a brand new hemispherical combustion engine in 1955.
The
And
Hemi.
it was the letter series. But what I want to ask Rick, in all the years that he's been a mechanic and working on gasoline engines, in his opinion, or engines that he ever worked on, what does he think the number one engine that was ever built in America?
Oh, there's just so many that all have their great points and their losing points. I mean, Ford had that 351 Cleveland. Chrysler with their 440 Magnums, the 383 Magnum, phenomenal engines. Chevy, the 327 was just like, oh, incredible. And of course, let's not forget the old boat anchor, the 350 that just, I mean, come on, the Chevy 350 just went everywhere and just kept going forever and ever and ever. But I'm going to say my number one pick, and I'm not going to say that this was an American engine, because it wasn't. My number one choice is the Toyota 22 RE. That little four-cylinder engine wound up being used in so many vehicles, and I don't mean just the Toyota pickups, because so many people would yank those engines out of a crashed Toyota pickup and put it almost anywhere. I have seen airboats running a 22 RE, swamp buggies running a 22 RE, a simple little four-cylinder engine that produces great torque, has just enough horsepower to get you down the road okay at the higher speeds. But it was such a phenomenal engine that they simply wouldn't break until they hit like 250,000 or 500,000 miles, some of them. And it just, of course, when they did break, some of it was pretty phenomenal, but they were great engines. And that was, I would have to say, is probably the king, was the 22 RE.
I would tend to agree with you because I've been buying Toyota since 1975, and I had that engine, and it was foolproof. It was no problem whatsoever. So I think you hit the nail on the head.
Ah, now, Earl, of course, he loves Chat GPT, and he just brought up one here, and I got to kind of agree with this too. Chat says the most reliable and long-lasting engine, they list the Toyota 2JZ GTE, which was that inline-six twin-turbo 3-liter engine that they put in the Toyota Supras right up until about 92, and then they modified it a little bit for the last couple of years of Supra. And no, I will still not allow ever in my presence for someone to actually make the claim that this new abomination that Toyota has allowed them to put the name on, that new BMW is not a Supra. I'm sorry. That's my prejudice. That ain't no Supra. The original Mark IV, just like the one they used in Fast and Furious, that's a Supra. This new abomination is not.
Okay.
All right. I thank you. I think I ring a bell. 1955, bringing up Earl Stewart and myself. The days of Fenton headers, Smitty mufflers, Foxtail fender skirts. Those were the days, my friend.
Yeah, there was a kid
certainly
in
were.
Palm Beach High School. His first name was Buddy. He had a 55 stick shift with a 4-barrel carburetor with that engine, and it outran everything, including me. I think at that time I forgot what the hot rod I laid my hands on, but we used to drag race back in those days. You probably didn't, John. You were probably a good kid, but I was a bad kid. So.
No, I was mostly stock.
Hey, John, to what you said, those were the days, my friend.
Yes.
I thought
yes.
they would never end.
Yes,
What a
I
great
agree
time
with
it
you.
was back then, 1955. All good memories. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John.
Okay, guys.
Have a great
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Stay tuned for that mystery shopping report. We are, I'll tell you, we are loaded this morning on the X screen. We are going to go to Mary, and she has called before. Good morning, Mary, and welcome back.
I'll tell you, we are loaded this morning. Okay. We are going to go to Mary.
Yeah.
And she has called before.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning.
Good morning. I want to tell you that you have...
Mary, could you turn your radio down, please? Just turn
Yes,
the
sir.
volume down.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I just want to tell you, you have an outstanding employee there by the name of John. Last name begins with an N. I don't know if you could give last names here.
Oh, absolutely.
And Nichols. And he just did an outstanding job for us on Thursday, and he really saved the day. My husband and I, unfortunately, came out from a diner that we up north over in Jupiter we were at, and the battery was dead in our car. So my husband noticed that the clock had lost time. So what happened was I called AAA, and they came and they charged the battery. And then we said, we'll be heading over to your location so that we can get a new battery. And sure enough, the AAA person, tech, told us that the car should get there, and, as long as you don't shut it off. So we're driving all the way to your location, and we get as far as the restaurant Frigate, and the car dies on US 1. So then I called John at your location and told him our situation, and he was like, okay, I'll be there in a few minutes, and I'll help you out. And sure enough, he did that, and he helped us out tremendously. And I can't tell you how much he went beyond his job to give us the best customer service he could possibly give. So you have a very, very wonderful employee there.
Mary, thank you. You know, we're going to nominate, based on your testimony, we're going to nominate John Nichols for what we call our Above and Beyond Award, and we're going to put his name every month. We find an employee that does something above and beyond the call of duty, and we give him a plaque and a check for $500. So you may win $500 for John. That'd be a nice way to pay him back for taking good care of you.
Yeah, definitely. We would really, really like him to be recognized, because that was just making a terrible situation just wonderful and correcting it. We went into your dealership and we got the battery and we were on our way.
Wonderful. Hey, Barbara, was that Riggins Crab House you drove past?
Excuse me? What did you say?
Riggins Crab House, was that the name of the restaurant? You referred to it earlier when you were driving.
Friggis. We were like right across going south, and Friggis was across the street.
Yeah.
Riggins
And
is
with the car,
Oh, okay. I got you.
right on
yeah,
US
North
1.
Palm,
Yeah, West Palm. I got you.
yeah, and
We
the
have-
car just died.
What a great ending,
Well, we'll
Mary.
tell John you called. That'll make his day.
Yeah. Thank you for
That was-
recognizing John. We all need
Yeah.
recognition. That's a great story, Mary.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Is it possible? I know Mr. Stewart was speaking about the coupons, that the oil change.
Yes.
Is it possible if I have one of those coupons today, would I be able to use it at the dealership today to get an oil change on my car?
Sure, you just tell him that you spoke to me personally,
Okay.
and
Okay, Mr.
and I'll approve it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stewart.
You're very welcome.
Oh,
Take
you're
care.
welcome,
Stewart.
Mary. Thank you so much
Thank
for tuning in.
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, excuse me. We are going to go to Deck. Deck is calling us from Boca. Good morning, Deck.
Good morning, Nancy, Earl, or I should say Mr. and Mrs. Stewart, and
Call me
of course
Earl.
Rick.
My real name is Speedo, but you can call me
Call
Mr.
me
Earl.
Nancy.
and soon to have Stu also.
Yeah, he'll be here shortly.
Yeah,
We bought our Corolla Hybrid from you, and it's nothing but amazing. We love it.
Well, thank
We
you.
get 40 miles to the gallon. We're supposed to bring the car back at 18,000 miles, which is supposed to be in August, but we will hit 18,000 miles at the end of June. Should I reschedule that oil change?
You should, and Rick knows the answer too, but you should, but we won't hold you to it. The owner's manual says mileage or time, whichever should first occur, and technically you should bring it in at 18,000.
Okay.
But we're not going to hold you to the letter of the law, and just stick close. Within a few thousand miles, within a few months, as long as you have all the recommended maintenance done at a reasonably close to the time, then you're not going to get in trouble, and the car's not going to have a problem.
Okay, thank you. We will bring it in soon. We will follow that 18,000.
Sounds good.
Thank
I
you,
will call
Deck.
ahead.
Thank you. That's a good idea.
Can I please? I have a question. I wouldn't go out without asking Rick something, but I have two questions, Rick. Please.
Sure.
I have a 2007 Lexus RX 350, and when I went to change the oil, I took the bolt off, and there was a metal washer built-in on the bolt, but I didn't see any other washer unless it fell into the oil. Do I need a copper crush washer on that also?
I would always recommend a crush washer, like you say, on that drain plug.
Okay.
Normally, the Toyota version is like a metal washer with a paper coating on both sides of it, and a lot of outside companies will use a copper crush washer. But yes, because that actually helps to prevent you from over torquing the bolt, when you're putting it back in the drain plug, and it helps to prevent leaks there. So yeah, I always recommend a new washer on that at every oil change.
Okay.
If you're doing them yourself, don't buy them from the dealership because they charge you like $1.50, and for like $5 you can get a bag of like 50 of them on Amazon.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you can get them aftermarket at a much lower cost. And the one thing I would definitely recommend though is go to Harbor Freight or even on Amazon and buy an inexpensive, if you're doing your own oil change, just buy an inexpensive torque wrench and set it for the proper torque for that drain plug. We saw a streak for quite a while. A lot of our younger guys would put a drain plug in and they'd really kind of crank it down.
Yes.
And unfortunately, what fails is not the drain plug itself, it's the threads in the oil pan. And
Yes.
then you're looking at like $200 for a new oil pan, plus you have to have the special sealer gasket material that seals it to the engine, and all the labor to replace it, and it's a messy thing to do, and it's a needless expense. But if you use a good torque wrench, just a simple torque wrench, and properly torque it every time, you'll never have that issue. 187,000 miles on my pickup. Oil gets changed every 5,000 miles, and I have used a torque wrench on it every single time.
Okay. That's great. Thank you for that info. And I just got one other fast question. This is a 2007 Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 110,000 miles on it.
Oh, it's a baby.
But I noticed recently when I drive, it sounds like a truck when I'm driving, but not when I'm idling. When the car's idling, it sounds fine. But when I drive down the street, I feel like I'm driving a truck. I'm guessing or thinking it could be the bearings.
That is certainly possible. If you're hearing it, it sounds like it's coming from one particular corner of the car, or from if you can detect it from the front and back. One of the tricks that I use to help diagnose a wheel bearing to figure out the location is I always get a second person to ride with me and have them sit in the back seat so they got a better idea to determine what corner it's coming from. Find an empty road, get up to about 35 miles an hour, and then basically you're going to play stunt driver. You turn the wheel left and right and make the car rock back and forth at those speeds. And what that does is...
Be sure there's not a cop behind you.
Right. Always make sure it's an empty road, no cops behind you, anything like that. But as the weight of the car changes from side to side, the sound will change. And say when you turn the wheel to the left, the car's weight is going to move over to the left, and you'll actually hear the noise get louder or quieter depending on which side it's on. So if it's on, let's say it's the left front, as you work that wheel to the left and the weight of the car moves to the left, you'll feel that noise get louder. And then when you go back to the right, it'll get quieter. And that can help narrow down whether it's, front and rear and left and right, and help you determine if that's a wheel bearing. Now, if the noise doesn't change but stays the same, then it's not a wheel bearing. More likely, you might be looking at an axle issue or possibly an exhaust leak, a little bit of exhaust leak starting to show up.
Okay. That's brilliant. That answer is what I call going above and beyond.
That's just what I do.
Thank you, Dick.
Thank you again.
Our pleasure.
You're welcome. Great call. We're going to go to the Roadrunner. That's Roadrunner Steve. He's a regular caller, and good morning.
Oh, good morning. Gee, I had to have a cup of coffee for this long way. But yes,
telling
it's
you.
so popular. Okay, like Earl, I had a light bulb come over my head, and this is something just to think about, maybe for October or November. We all know the listeners' voices, but we never see our faces. How about having something at your showroom up there on a Saturday? Coffee and donuts, or maybe a barbecue. We could get a 50-50 going for the Big Dog Ranch. We could give out prizes for a free car wash, free oil change. You could have a car sale, new and used car sale, right, with special prices. for doing that.
Yeah, well, what we do, Steve, is if we have it's worked well for us. We put our lowest price on all of our cars all the time, and I respect sales, and I buy things myself that are on sale, but there are some stores, and we're one of them. I mean, very few car dealerships, but we don't have sales. Now, Toyota has sales, and they pass the price reduction along to their dealers, and of course we participate. But we figure out what a fair profit margin is for us, and we mark the car up by that. And whether Roadrunner Steve buys the car, or the Premier of France, or the President of the United States, whoever walks into our dealership pays the same price for the car. Even my brother-in-law would pay the same price. People feel like they're getting the best price all the time. It doesn't work for everybody, because I know people that will only buy something on sale, and that's the reason the other car dealers have a sale every week.
Okay, well, skip the car sales. Well, how about meeting the people instead of their voices?
Well, that's a good idea too. My son was chiding me the other day, one of my sons, about not being in the dealership, and I've been out of the dealership. I've had a illness that I had prostate cancer that metastasized, and I successfully have had chemotherapy it's been about a year now, and I haven't got the stamina to stand up for a long time. I can make it from the car to my chair in the radio station, but if I go to the dealership, I find myself wobbling a little bit. But I'm almost there. Nancy and I saw our oncologist yesterday. I got a good, clean bill of health, got a bunch of tests, and I have one more PSA thing coming back, and I will be back in the dealership soon. And when I am, I'll do what you said. I like the idea.
I mean, we could ask Rick questions, the 50-50, go to Big Dog Ranch.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So it'd be like
we all know what we look like.
We have to ask.
I might be able to, might be the woman.
Well, we could stream. Well, you could stream us. but I like your idea. We'll have see if we can do a remote. They call those remotes, and we'll see if a True Oldies channel. We'll talk to the owner, and we'll do one at the dealership. And it doesn't have to be right away. October, November, Yeah.
Plan it, down the road.
I love it. We'll do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Steve, you got to take me for a ride in that Roadrunner, bud.
No, I don't drive it that far. I'm sorry. I don't drive on Saturdays.
Oh.
Don't forget, Steve, you have to be prepared to give out some autographs. Listen, it's been a pleasure. My X screen is lit up. Do you have any other?
Of course it is. Oh, by the way, my favorite American car motor is the Slant 6 225. Can't beat it.
Slant 6 225.
Yeah.
I had one. I drove it with no oil for 5 miles, and it still ran.
Oh, man.
All right,
no.
everybody. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, we are going to go to Doug. Doug is a regular caller. Good morning, Doug. Welcome.
Good morning. It's good to hear you guys. And so Ella says it should be 50-49 because she's important too.
That's a kitty cat for our listeners. One of the most amazing cats of all time.
She says hello and meow.
Oh.
I miss you guys. It's great to hear you.
Yes, it certainly is.
So I had a situation. I went to a Chevron gas station. This was, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, and there's a big line. Everyone's, trying to get gas, and they had cheap gas, cheap prices. So I went and started a pump, and it took so long. It was like I must have been there for 15 minutes, right?
Possibly.
And then when I drove off, the car did like a weird hesitation, And I go, what the heck? And so it seemed to me that maybe the gas was almost empty, and the bottom of the pan, I guess, has some maybe sediment, maybe some water. And so I called Chevron, and they said, well, why don't you call, your dealership, bring it in and make sure there's no damage or whatever. And the next day the car was running fine. So my question is, should I still bring it in, or is it basically okay?
My first thought on it, the first thing that I always go to with the possibility of contaminated fuel, and
Right.
obviously because it only happened for a moment, and it's driving normal now, you don't have something in there like diesel or something that's contaminating all the fuel. Now, it is possible that you might have had a little bubble of water in there. And what'll happen, of course, water and gas don't mix, so the water will actually form like almost picture like an air bubble, but it's sunk down at the bottom, not at the top. And this bubble of water will move around in the bottom of the tank. So what happened, you might have actually siphoned up all of it. It might just be gone, and you won't have a problem with it again. What I would try doing, and again, this sounds similar to what I just spoke with the other caller about, find an empty road or a big open parking lot, and just basically drive the car like in circles, or go straight ahead and just wobble it from side to side. And what'll happen is, if that little bubble of water is still in there, if there's any there, it'll usually move it around and can sometimes get it to move to the pickup and actually be siphoned up. So then if there's something there, that will work it through and get rid of it for you. So I would suggest try that, but if it runs normal for you, I wouldn't worry about it at that point. Just give it a good drive for a little while and see how it feels. Whatever was there might have just burned itself through and not given you any problems.
Yeah, the car I have, it's a GRC, the Toyota Corolla, and it's high compression engine, very, very powerful to say the least. And so when I put the gas on it, and it just kind of like sputtered, it was like, what?
Yeah.
So I did call the dealership, and they were nice. Said, yeah, bring it in. And then I called them the next day. I said, hey, it seems fine. He said, then you're probably good. And but I'll do that. I'll go on an empty road, but I can't go too fast. That car goes way too fast, so I'll go like 20 or 30 miles an hour in a circle for about an hour. I'm just kidding.
Be sure you bring your license and registration just in case.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great day. It's nice talking to you. And Ella says meow.
Okay.
Meow.
Stay tuned. I got a cat story I'm going to tell after you hang up. Make it fast.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay,
Thank you, Doug. Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Frank, who's been holding from Jupiter Farms, which is also a regular caller.
Amory. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Father's Day, of course, to the fathers out there.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. I sent you a picture. I don't know if it came through, but I had our first ever Cybertruck in my driveway yesterday.
Ooh.
And it's a black one, and they said they know you. Don Hanson, does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it does. I'm surprised at how many Cybertrucks we see around town. And we read in Automotive News, this week's Automotive News, that it's been a kind of a failure sales-wise. But in South Florida, they seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, it was the first time I saw one up close.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up, you opened the hood, he did this, where the 110 and the 220 and the little trunk in the front. And, I mean, it was and then he had me pick him some lychees to take home and try for his wife. He's going to come back to pick up 10 pounds later today or tomorrow. But it was interesting. Of course, as everyone that I ever mentioned your name to, there's always positive and accolades. I mean, you got a very good reputation, Earl and Nancy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting that it appears on the front page of the Automotive News, and it seems that, with all the hype for electric pickups, huge hype, pre-orders have really Well, they failed to win over the truck buyers. That's Cybertruck and the F-150.
Yeah, well, we have a 150 for towing our trailer and stuff, and it's always fun to listen and reminisce and hear the stories about which engine. And we had a 225 in one of our Barracudas, and so I mean, different things. But it's
F-150 is the biggest selling vehicle in the world.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. I met a couple people that are hoping are going to call your show. One gentleman had a VW Atlas. He actually was able to get replaced through the Lemon Law, and his story was outstanding.
Love to hear that.
I asked him to call your show because you would love the details how that all worked out. And I keep talking whenever I'm like at the car wash or something, and I see a lady, and I say, "You want to make $50 next Saturday morning?" And they look at me like I'm a pervert. Oh, it's for a phone call. A phone call, and I go, they don't slap me, but anyway. So I'm waiting for some of the female callers to call you as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Hey, Frank, I had a lychee martini the other day. It was really good.
Oh, hey, I made my girlfriend at the time, Anne-Marie, her very first lychee martini. After just one of my martinis, she looked at me and said, "You're looking pretty good now."
What was the martini,
I tell you what,
Stu?
Lychee, the lychee fruit.
A lychee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sell them. I'll bring you some by the station. But last week you kind of gave me a little infomercial that we're out here in Jupiter Farms, off Jupiter Farms Road. And I wanted to let you know, if someone comes and tells me because they heard it on your radio station, whatever they buy in lychees, I will donate the entire thing to Big Dog Ranch.
Oh, wow. A twofer. That's great, Frank.
Okay, so now Whippoorwill Trail, Jupiter Farms, Frank Nash.
That's right.
Anyway,
You heard it here.
You all have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks, Frank.
Back to other folks. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you, Frank. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can also text us at 772-497-6530. Please don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. Don't forget that we have a mystery shopping report, and this mystery shopping report is from Arrigo. That's Arrigo CDJR of Margate. We're talking
Arrigo
Chrysler,
Margate,
Dodge,
but really the Morgan Auto Group of Margate.
Dodge, and Jeep and Ram. So stay tuned for that at about 9:30. Okay, back to the recovering car dealer.
Well, the timing is good because Stu just walked in, and then we had Doug earlier on the line who has a cat named Ella, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I told him I want to tell a cat story. And now I have a substantiation because I warn you, cat owners and lovers out there, it has a happy ending. Stu was a child. I was married to my first wife, and we had 2 or 3 cats. And I'm backing out of the driveway one day going to work, and all of a sudden I felt a thump. That's what triggered my memory on this. And so I thought it was a tire. I was going to...
The Palm Beach Post.
I didn't know what it was. And so I got out of the car, and I looked around, and there was our black cat Gravelock. I just run over...
It was Kuka.
Kuka, yeah. The Gravelock
was the replacement.
Yeah, Kuka and the black cat. So I figured he's a goner. Long story short, we took Kuka, carried him and took him to the vet, and Kuka lived. And,
He had a broken tibia.
yeah. Can you imagine a brick driveway, driving over them in a large car, and having the cat survive? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And that cat lived until I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, a little limp.
Yeah, he was there before I got there, right?
And he looked at me funny from then on. He was not really,
You guys, you got him like in 1964.
Let me tell you something. That story, it turned out a whole lot better than the War of the Roses. Who could ever forget that scene?
With Michael Douglas and
That's right.
Kathleen Turner, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Any other stories?
No. It's just I just wanted.
There are other stories. That's probably one
Well,
of the
we
few
don't
that
want to
you can
mention
say
them
on
all
radio, yeah.
on the air.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Andy from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning, Andy. Welcome.
How you doing? I was the guy with the SL55, that broken window in the back.
Okay.
If you remember me 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I called you I called you like 6 months ago when I bought the car from Alabama, and when they delivered it, I told you the lights in the car didn't go on, and the radio wouldn't play. So it has 2 batteries. So I bought a battery for the back, and it worked real good. And then I went to the guy with the window, because the roof wouldn't go down with a broken window. I didn't know that until after I bought the car. So when I went to the first place in Coral Springs, they wanted $2,500. So I said, "Are you kidding me? 20 for a window?" So then I found a guy a couple of days ago, and he fixed the window. And I told you the paddles from the car fell off in the first place for the 2,500, and they just I didn't want to bother with them. So the new guy, did the job for $1,300, and he fixed the paddle. So I got lucky there. And then I don't know if I explained to you, when I went to buy the car, the guy told me the roof didn't work. So he went down from 15,000. That's real cheap for that car. And it's an 07, and he went down to 10 grand, and I said, "I'll give you 9," and we settled for 9,400 because the roof. So after all that, when they fixed everything, the roof worked. So I say, I got so lucky. I couldn't believe it. You understand?
Hey, you're like
And
me.
the guy had a weak battery, and the weak battery wouldn't let the roof go up and down, and the window. So I got lucky from 2,500 to 13, and he fixed the paddle thing. I couldn't believe this. A nice guy, Autobond it's on Oakland Park and Dixie Highway.
Andy, I know this sounds superstitious, but I really believe, and maybe this will come out later on with artificial intelligence, there are people like you in the world. I'm one of them. I am very lucky, and you obviously are very
if
lucky.
I told you a story of my life, you wouldn't believe it. I actually... I got married at 18. I'm not lying. My father retired, and I was 25 and I retired. I didn't have to work no more.
There you are.
Because at 8, I'm lucky because I was going to go to jail, and I got a job. And it was a job that made $200 a week and 70. It was with the Daily News, and they controlled the prices. And one of our dealers, we had 200 of them in New York, and I was in Brooklyn, and we sued the Daily News. It took 7 years. You could look this up. And we beat the news because they wouldn't let us charge a service charge. I had 3,000 customers.
Wow.
So I was making $300 a week. In 77, I was making 25 to 3,000. And
Wow.
it was a miracle. And I was right. I was a real lucky guy that way. But bad luck was I let my cousin run the business, and I came to Florida. I had the business for 17 years.
Yeah.
But I lost it, and it was worth a lot of money. And then I went into the horse racing business.
Oh, boy.
This is another story. I got kicked out of the racetrack.
Oh, no.
And we thought I was cheating there. I wasn't cheating. I was doing something a little not kosher. So,
You and I might be related. We'll have to get a DNA. We'll get a.
This is a real good story. They throw me out of the racetrack in '90, and I begged them to let me in, and the manager of the racetrack called me up because I had 20 people go in and say how nice guy I am, and I help people. I lent money out to people. You know that.
Yeah.
They all love me there.
Yeah.
So here's the good news. I couldn't get back, and the manager told all the people that called, I didn't kick Andy out. The Internal Revenue did, and that was a lie. To get them off his back, they gave me that story. But here's the good thing. I bought an apartment building on Las Solas, Hendricks Isle.
Oh, boy.
The best neighborhood in
Andy.
10 family with 6 boats in the back. And I paid $600,000 when the World Trade Center down. They made the height from 33 feet to 60. So every builder wanted my land, and I got $1.5 million for it.
Lucky
and
Andy.
My friend next,
Lucky Andy.
Go ahead. I'm so I was a problem child in school and stuff, a real sick kid.
You and I are related. Somewhere.
But here's the reason I got rich. I was 18 and I got a 15-year-old pregnant, and I married her.
Oh God, I can't talk about that anymore.
Then I borrowed money from her family, and I bought the house and the business. I was just very lucky. And with cars, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I told you my first car my father got me was '66 Bonneville 421 HO engine, 376 horsepower, tri-power. It was $3,800. I bought it in Long Island.
Andy, we got to get out.
Okay, I'll let you go.
We got to,
okay.
But you and I got to have a drink sometime.
I know. I'm really. I can't believe it because I was not. All my friends went to college, and I went to visit them in college. And I took care of them. I was like a pharmacist.
I understand.
So, okay, I'll let you go.
We're going to refer to you as Lucky Andy from Fort Lauderdale.
I love you.
Give us a call back.
The invitation ran out, so I can tell you this. Okay.
Absolutely. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Great stories.
Thanks very much. But
Thank
I got
you.
a bargain. I'm real happy.
Okay.
Thank you. Please call us again. Our number here is 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymous feedback. We're going to go to Kevin, who has been holding from Lake Park. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. How are you guys?
We're great.
Long-time listener. I've called you a couple of times. I've just got a quick question for you. I've noticed there's a couple of Mercedes EQSs for sale locally. They were formerly lemon lawed.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got what is that called? A blemish on the title or whatever?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have to disclose that, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if what would be would there be problems with buying those cars or?
Well, you have to be more careful, obviously. I'll give you the same advice that we give anybody buying a used car. Take it to a qualified mechanic and have him go over it. With a lemon law history, you'll know what the complaint was that forced the manufacturer to repurchase it. But a lot of lemon law cars, in fact, probably most of them, are fixed ultimately. Yeah. And it could be a really good buy. The blemish is going to drive the price way down. As long as you're sure the blemish in the car has been fixed, it could be a hell of a deal.
Yeah. It's a lot of times the lemon laws are enacted. It's after the frustration of both the customer and the dealership after trying multiple times and not really getting to the heart of it, and the customer doesn't want to spend another month or however long it's going to take to figure it out. So they exercise the rights in the lemon law. The car goes back. There's more time to take a look at it and fix it. Then again, there are some that
the
don't.
lemon law in and of itself depresses the price.
Yeah.
It's depressing the price for you, and when you sell it, if you sell it again, it'll depress the price again. So you can get a bargain if you justify that the car's been fixed, and then you save a lot of money. But when you sell it again, the guy that's might want to buy it might not want to go to all that trouble. They'll just say, "Hey, I got enough problems in life without buying a car that was brought back because of a lemon law." So you're buying a car that will have a diminished value not only when you bought it, but when you resell it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. As far as how about insurance? Does it impact the insurance in a negative way, or
no, not the insurance.
You just keep in mind that it really has some significant significant defects. So take that
Right.
with, a grain of salt.
Your car's been flagged.
It may or may not have significant effect. Like Stu said, a lot of times the car is bought back because the dealer didn't fix it in the 3 times that the law gives it. Each state has got a different lemon law. And in Florida, the dealer has 3 chances to fix it. And if they don't fix it, then it goes to the lemon law, folks. So it might not be a serious problem. It could be. But not knowing is almost as bad as being a serious problem.
Gotcha. Yeah, from what I understand, there were a couple of different issues with those cars, and at the time there was no fix for those issues, and that's why they were lemon lawed. And then subsequently, they've come up with the fix, and these cars have been fixed.
It's a shame it went that route, because if it's multiple cars, I don't think it should be individual lemon laws that are tainting these cars. It should have been a recall or a TSB or whatever they needed to do to get in there under official channels.
Well, manufacturer might have been covering it up.
Yeah, I'm just saying they didn't want to deal with it that way. They hadn't acknowledged a widespread problem when those were lemon lawed.
And,
Okay.
Kevin, there's a lot of people that don't realize the lemon law. It varies from state to state. So it's.
Would you say it's more lenient in Florida or not?
I don't know how to compare it. I would say that.
I've never compared it, but it's worth looking into.
I've been involved in a few of the lemon law things, and it seems to be a pretty straightforward process. There's some aspects of it I don't like. It's communication has to be cut off between the dealership and the customer. At that point, it goes directly between the customer and the manufacturer at that point. So even if you have a good relationship with the customer and they want to talk to you about what's going on in the car, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, if you have a car, you should use the lemon law as the last resort because, as Stu said, nobody will talk to you once you declare lemon law.
Yeah.
The factory won't talk to you. The manufacturer won't talk to you. The salesman won't talk to you. You're all by yourself. So give the dealership a good chance to fix it, and then maybe another dealership, because if you really want to fix the car, lemon law, you're just out. You're in the courts, and that's it.
And Kevin, that was an interesting question as far as Florida being more lenient. So I'm going to look into that. Great question.
That's a good one for Earl to get on ChatGPT, I guess.
Hey, you read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking just when you said that.
Well, thanks to you, I heavily rely on ChatGPT now too, and I've got my wife doing the same thing. So
it's magnificent.
spreading the word.
Magnificent. Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Give us a call again. Kevin is our last caller, and the phone lines have been shut down. And we are going to go to Anne Marie's text.
Rick's got it. What? Anne Marie's text?
Oh, okay. I thought we had one more caller coming.
Oh, no. But I could skip you if you want. We have an incognito.
Oh, got her right here.
You're fast.
Anne Marie says, good morning. I was driving down a 2-lane road without any white painted lines on the edge of the road, and that got me wondering how lane assist works in suboptimal conditions. Number one, how does lane assist work under normal conditions where the lines of the road are freshly painted and it's good weather? And number two, how does lane assist work if there are no visible lines on the road due to a lack of painted lines or sand or snow or deep puddles? Thanks.
Anne-Marie, I'm a lane assist expert.
I think Stu has the answer.
I do. I was like a fifth grade holding my hand up
I was
to the
just going
ceiling.
to ask you.
Lane assist and there's lane keep and lane trace assist. And lane keep just keeps you from when you cross the lane, it'll nudge you back over. Lane trace assist is very similar to like auto driving. It will steer the car on the road when you're using the laser cruise control auto driving feature. You have to keep your hands on the wheel the whole time because if it doesn't see a line or if it's confused about the edge of the road, it will turn off and you will have to maintain the car. So you can see it. There's a display on the dash that shows when it has recognized and targeted the lines. They're nice bright blue lines on the lane in that little picture that you can see on the display. When it can't see the line, either both of them or one, that blue line will disappear, and you'll get a buzz or a noise. A car will alert you, and you got to be ready to. So you're not supposed to sit back with your hands behind your head. You got to hold on the wheel. So to answer your question, no painted line, no lane trace assist, no lane keep. That's the answer.
That is.
Hey, you get an A's too.
You
Now-
got an A+.
Thank you very much.
Just to expand it a little bit, some models are a little different. Like
No, they're all the same. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
my own RAV4 has actually three versions. It'll show no line at all, or two parallel lines on each side of the lane that will then fill in with a solid line in the middle. When it has a perfect a perfect line, it shows that line in the middle. But when that goes away, it means it sees part of the line but not all of it.
Right.
And then if it goes totally away, it
They don't
sees
see
no
anything.
lines whatsoever.
Okay. You know, I think that's what I'm seeing too, but I didn't know about the little, the dotted line or the lighter line thing.
Yep.
But yeah, they're probably like, yeah.
And then also, if you take your hands off the wheel for too long of a time, it'll beep at you to say, "Hey, dummy, put your hands back on the wheel."
Now they're telling you to pay attention. If you're not looking at the road, it'll tell you to pay attention.
Autonomous does that.
Yep.
The autonomous, there's two different types of autonomous, and one is the ones they're using in robotaxis, and the other one is the one that Tesla uses. Tesla relies not on signs exclusively. They see signs. 8 cameras will see the signs. It'll see the lines if the lines are there. But what Tesla relies on are videos, millions and millions and millions of videos. So it sees the car, and if you're on a road with no lines, it sees the cars are coming at you from the left. I mean, it does what you do when there are no lines.
Right. And I also think it's looking at more things than some of the lesser advanced ones.
Yeah.
Like Toyota, I don't think has. I've seen like the Tesla's thing. It identifies every object around you. If there's a van, a truck, a motorcycle, a pedestrian, so it's seeing a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's way more sophisticated.
Autonomous with Tesla differentiates between if somebody's riding a bicycle, we'll see a thing on our screen of somebody on a bicycle. If it's a little kid, you'll see a little kid.
Yeah, animal,
you'll see dogs.
Mailboxes, garbage.
Very
cans, things
accurate.
like that.
The cameras are just amazing.
It's really cool. It creates a whole little model around the car.
Yes.
And you're in it.
No, I'm at the point now, and Nancy, when we drive, more me than Nancy, is I don't look out of the windows anymore because my screen gives me a far better, accurate vision of what's going on around me. And when you're looking out the front window,
So you don't fly a VFR.
I don't.
Oh, wow.
I'm not visual at all. I'm all on instruments, and I'm looking at the one instrument. So when I'm looking at that one instrument, if somebody comes too close behind me, someone comes in my blind spot, anywhere that 8 cameras, and there's very few places that 8 cameras can't see, I see it.
Yeah.
And the best part is I've seen how autonomous drives like you're supposed to drive. You're on I-95, and you've got to get into the right-hand lane to get off at an exit, and you're in gridlock, and there's cars behind you, in front of you, and on both sides of you. And I've only got 2 miles to get to the Okeechobee Boulevard exit. What am I going to do? So what the autonomous does in gridlock puts on its turn signal. Now, the guy behind you may say, "The hell with that guy," and he passes you, like most people. Right. Another person passes you.
Eventually somebody
But there are some people that actually will slow down. I don't see it, but the autonomous sees, "Oh, I got someone slowing down," and you knew
Because it can sense that before your eyes
And
can
nudge
register
over,
that.
yeah.
Right. It does a quick little calculation. That's cool.
It is.
But I do want to make a public service announcement to our listeners. Earl is not flying with visual flight rules, so when you see a mirrored Cybertruck in Palm Beach County, he ain't looking at you.
I have to pretend like I'm looking at you because one of the cameras is also watching my eyeballs, and so
he's looking.
I have to look at
He's looking.
I have to look at the screen out of the corner of my eye because if I go like this, I'll get beep, beep, beep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So after a week of me driving the Plaid, Earl is in the Tesla or the Cybertruck, and you'll see him on the road this morning. He's in the truck.
Is anybody holding right now?
Our lines
we're off. I have
yeah.
a question for Rick. Like I'm a caller.
We're closed.
Okay. You know the auto off thing to save fuel when you come to a light, you stop.
Start stop feature.
Start stop.
Gotcha.
And you can turn it on and off within a drive. You turn once the vehicle's on, you can disable it. When you turn it off and restart it, it comes back on. Physically or engineeringly or whatever, mechanically, is it possible? Would it be possible for someone with the equipment and the knowledge to make a permanent override for that? And if it would, that wouldn't be an illegal thing. It would be something that Toyota, they've sold the car as a...
they stopped putting it in.
Well, they sold it. They've done their job. Their fleet has the EPA that they told, the MPG that they told the EPA. And so now, could it be, I'm thinking, with no limit to the type, like a really sophisticated thing that could be sold?
I would guarantee there is a way. The drawback to it that I would see is you would have to have a device that, let's see. I would say actually it wouldn't be that difficult a device to make because
for the temporary
right,
one,
but
right?
the start stop button that you use to turn it off is a momentary button. It's not an on-off switch.
Right.
It's a simply momentary push button that sends a signal to the computer.
Disengages.
Generally by providing a ground for that system voltage that tells the computer, I want to turn this off. So what I would do if I was going to design something like that is I would have a device that when you start the car, it detects the car starting simply by having connection to the key power, and it would simply provide a ground to the wire before the switch, and it would just provide that ground just for 1 second, what all it need to do, and that would tell the computer to shut off the auto start stop feature.
Wow.
And then it would simply turn itself back off until you restart the car again.
You probably described exactly how these permanent disablers operate that Earl found on ChatGPT. I asked Chat to link me up to it. They said,
darn, I was just sitting thinking in my head, I can design something like that and I can start selling it on Amazon and make a fortune.
Well, I was going to offer you the capital.
They beat me to it.
I was going to offer you the capital to design it and build it, and then we were going to sell it. I was going to offer you a partnership. But
I'd be in, yeah.
Well, Western Diesel, and it looks like it might be specific to the manufacturer. Here's one, stop, start, eliminator device for Toyotas. There's another one for Fords. So anyway, so our listeners...
Jeff will put those in the bus department.
And even Donovan says there are devices you can plug into the OBD2 port that would disable start-stop.
Yeah, so folks, if we've talked a lot about with callers...
It's only $24.
Yeah, if you hate it, you can get it for $24 on Amazon. So that's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Cool.
Now, if only Southeast Toyota would sell that as a accessory at the port, we would preload that on all our cars.
Wow. But how many cars now
have it or don't have it?
Have start stop from Toyota, brand new.
I really don't know. I'm driving.
Not many.
My trucks tend to do.
But remember too, as Toyota is now in the process of going to all hybrid,
they're not going to need it.
You don't need it because hybrid is going to shut the engine off anyways. You know, as part of its function.
And generally, as the fleets, MPGs come down, as they bring in more EVs, they won't need little things like that. Eventually, we can get heavy cars with a whole bunch of stuff on them because they don't use any gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let the folks know before Stu picks up with what he has to say is that our mystery shopping report will happen at 9:35. Stay tuned.
9:35.
That'll be Arrigo CDJ.
Because I only have 2 minutes of power on my
Margate. Oh, no. Okay, take it.
Okay, so I have a anonymous feedback. It says, a YouTube video explains how it can take almost a day and $1,000 in labor to replace a headlight bulb in a Toyota Corolla. They showed that the bumper and the other parts need to be removed to get to the bulb. Can that be true? Rick?
It can be true on quite a few models anymore. They have made it, now especially with LED headlights, which most cars are going to LED, it's extremely difficult.
Like integrated.
Yes, because you're not replacing usually just a simple bulb like we used to do. Now you've got the entire assembly, and that's a lot of the cars. That's a ton of work. As a matter of fact, there are even some models out there like the second-gen Prius. They have little marker lights that they're what I call a peanut bulb, because the bulb itself is literally the size of a peanut. And I have big hands. I have scars all over my hands from reaching in to get to these because they're in such a tight spot.
Does that mean we
to
have
get into
customers with dried Rick blood in their headlights?
Tried not to, but yeah, I'm going to admit there's my DNA is in a whole lot of cars out there because
Oh, boy.
yeah, there's.
Well, that speaks to the carelessness of the manufacturer's design and engineers. And also, I think, what was the amount they said that they had to spend?
$1,000 in labor. That doesn't count the headlight.
Yeah.
And that's just an example of a lot of things
Everything.
that some engineer just didn't think about.
Right.
And,
I mean, some things. I guess I don't know what you can do. Like, imagine what happens when you smash that bumper into a little pole. It's no longer a $300 bumper repair. You
Right.
It's crazy. Everything's all these sensors and electronics.
Well, and
It's complicated.
Like Johnny Zfriedley's just asked on YouTube here, he says, but LEDs should last a lot longer. And yes, they do. It just, unfortunately, like everything in this world, sometimes even brand new parts can fail. It does happen, and we don't have a perfect world. And yeah, LEDs last phenomenally longer than the old original halogen bulbs, but they too can fail. So
in my bathroom, same thing. I had several what I thought were bulbs went out, so I thought I'd go replace them. So I go up to the fixture. There is no bulb. The light is like some kind of diode thing built in to this contraption, and I couldn't take it out. I need a professional to come, or I need to get the right tools in a YouTube video. And do it. It's not a simple matter.
And it's it's cars, folks. I know a lot of you out there still like to do the old DIY, do it yourself, but trust me, some of those things you may not want to get into because they can get you over your head real quick.
I'll tell you what, Rick, you said a mouthful. Definitely, I have to get used to that because I might just get in a little too deep if I decide to do something.
Yeah.
And things have changed.
It makes me think of that article that Earl and you sent out about the museum and hiring a mechanic. I don't know if you talked about it on the show yet, but it's a museum for older cars, and they need a mechanic to go in there because there's not that. I mean, they're out there, but we know it's eventually it's shrinking, and the fact that it's.
They're all in nursing homes, though.
Well, the problem is, I mean, you've got to have somebody that understands magnetos and points and things for the ignition system and how the car's operated. And we're talking cars 100 years old now. So
absolutely. Okay, we'll pick up this conversation next week. For now, we have got to get to the mystery shopping report. I mentioned earlier that would be Arrigo. That's Arrigo of Margate, and that is the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealership. And back to the recovering car dealer.
Okay, when you said Arrigo earlier, I said, "Oh, I must have read the wrong shopping report." Mentally, and we all know Arrigo retired a long time ago, at least from selling cars, and the fact that he leaves his name to Larry Morgan, what's it been 10 years now?
I don't know if it's been 10 years. It was pre-pandemic, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it's just it's just, the deception of car dealers is just. I mean, is it really worth it to keep some guy's name on a car dealership? Because the only reason you do it is you imply that it is that person that owns it.
It's like they got name recognition.
Yeah,
They've been there forever.
Yeah,
but I'm wondering if it's more of a temptation to do even more outrageous things because it's not Morgan out there screwing you; it's Arrigo out there screwing you.
and I know Larry Morgan, and he is a really for a car dealer.
He's a great guy.
It's kind of like I'd say for myself, for a car dealer.
I think
I'm
his
a pretty honest
son,
guy.
Larry Jr. I think it's Larry Jr.
Yeah,
and I
Jr.
know him.
Yeah.
I've met him a bunch. He's he might be the one who's taking swings for the fences.
Could be, yeah, could be. Anyway, I'm going to Bargate, by the way, where the Arrigo's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is located, is near Fort Lauderdale. A lot of people listening from out of state. It's in South Florida. I'm going to speak in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning and do the report. I arrived mid-afternoon, walked around a lot for about 8 minutes. When no one came out, I headed inside. Once inside, I noticed that no one was at the front customer service desk, but two salesmen were standing nearby having, they were talking about lunch, and there was a sausage cart out front.
Oh, boy.
And they noticed me. And, and one of them asked, have you been helped yet? See, that doesn't disturb anybody except Nancy, Stumey, and Rick, because, in a retail store, period, people should be alert and not thinking about sausage when the customer comes in.
I'm sorry, I did not have my manager or my dealer hat on because my only thing that I took notice of was that they had a sausage cart.
Yeah.
Oh, a hot dog. Okay, all right. Okay, that makes sense.
I
was picturing
replied,
a food truck.
Okay.
I replied, nobody's helped me yet. Ronald introduced himself and asked me to follow him to his desk. He asked, do you have any vehicle in mind? I said, as a matter of fact, I was already looking online and saw your employee pricing. I really like this 2025 Dodge Ram over by the outdoor food stand. I took a picture of the window sticker. It was a new 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman crew cab 4x2 with an MSRP of $49,455. I knew this because, hang on to your hats, this is good, the Monroney label was stuck to the window. Imagine that.
Wow.
In South Florida, for people who haven't listened to the show before, it is a law, you probably know, to have the Monroney label affixed to the window, but in South Florida, it almost never happens. They hide them.
It's really hard, especially on the ones that are on display near the showroom, because they're the ones that get moved around so much. Maybe back in the far lot, they're stuck on better.
So that's a good sign, folks. The Monroney label is legally on the car. The addendum label, now we start to slide. The addendum label was also there. And of course, we call that the phony Monroney, and that's the label they put on cars all over Florida, especially South Florida, that adds BS to the price of the car and tricks you into thinking it's part of the Monroney label.
Looks like it.
It ended up added $599 to the MSRP. Ronald replied, you're making my job way too easy today. He asked to see my phone so he could pull it up by the VIN. Ronald then asked me for my contact information and my license to enter into their system. He inquired, what brings you all this far south? I explained, well, we have doctors down here, and we're also planning on going to the casino. That'd be the Hard Rock Casino this evening. Ronald said, let me go get the keys, and we can take a closer look at this beautiful truck. After waiting for a few minutes, we walked outside to see and drive the vehicle. As we were standing there, it suddenly started pouring rain. We're getting a lot of that in South Florida now. And we ran back inside. I told Ronald, I'm not really comfortable driving a new car that isn't even mine yet in this weather. He replied, I understand, but offered, would you like me to show you our pricing? I agreed. Ronald excused himself to speak with his sales manager, get some numbers. I asked, will the price be what it shows on your website for the employee pricing? He asked, I just, every time I read this, I used to laugh and now I cry. He asked, is anyone in your house a first responder or in the military? No, I replied. Of course, you know why that is. There's a lot of discounts out there for first responders and for military. And I checked with my good friend Chat GP, and I said, Chat, what percent of the adult U.S. population is military or a first responder? And the answer is less than 6%. So 90, let's say 95% of the people that see the ad can't qualify.
I think it's close enough to say all the people that see the ad. I mean, with exceptions.
Yeah. So anyway, he responded, it'll be close, and I'll definitely get the employee pricing we're offering. There's another beauty. Does anybody really know what employee pricing is? A lot of people think it's a really good price, and a lot of people think it's what employees pay. But
it might be.
It might be.
We have dealers. We have salespeople from other dealerships buying new cars from us because their employee pricing isn't so good.
I checked that out too, so we'll get to that later in the report. I waited for nearly 15 minutes before Ronald returned with his worksheet given to him by his manager, who was somewhere else. The top line was $49,455 MSRP. They took off $3,951. They added
it's like this game.
$2,995 for preferred PPP. I won't speculate. What does that stand for?
Preferred Protection Package.
Preferred.
Or Payroll Protection Plan Program.
Which last time we checked was stuff like fabric protection, wheel locks, usual BS. Then they added $599 for a window tint, $1,298. A little poetic license. Stu called it junkimentation fee. Junkimentation fee, aka junk fee, and a $795 and a new name. $795 state fee.
That's got to be very illegal.
It's clearly the implication is it's got something to do with the state of Florida. Clearly, it does not have anything to do with the state of Florida. And as Stu said, it's probably really illegal when you lie about a federal charge or a state charge or even a local municipal charge.
They had a separate charge on the buyer's or on the worksheet you can see on the that has for license. Your registration, and it was $250, and that's right in line. $795 state fee. I can't think of anything that applies to.
I'll go out on a limb and say it's a lie.
Yes.
I added it all up. They wanted $51,191 for the Ram 1500, with which was $1,736, $1,736 over MSRP. That's after the discount. So I asked, what happened to the employee pricing and the advertised $20,000 discount? Ronald explained, if you read the fine print, that's if you qualify for everything.
Oh boy!
That you're a college graduate and you're a Marine,
a realtor,
and you're a Navy SEAL,
a sugar farmer.
Right. I responded, well, the price on your website was $37,630.
Oh boy!
I mean, talking about a lie. I mean, and then another reason I'm excited, my blood pressure's up, is the state law in Florida. And I think it's the federal law, requires that the advertised price must be the price you pay plus tax and tag only, sales tax and license plate, government fees only. And here, the advertised price, is that $20,000? Yeah, $20,000 less.
Yeah. She paid $51,000. Well, no, not 21. She paid $14,000 more than the advertised price.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
You
even
can get a
close.
brand new Mitsubishi for the amount that they ripped her off for.
So I said, when I stated the obvious discrepancy in price, the salesman gave me a half smirk and said, I can talk to my sales manager, but this is likely the best we can do. I said, well, thank you for your time today, but I think I'll take my business elsewhere. I'm not liking the misleading pricing you're trying to pull, and I walked out the door.
I would fire those manager and that sales manager. I mean, well, if I told them to do all that evil stuff, and they let them walk away like that with a giant, that's like a 10-pounder that they walk.
Now here's what the Chrysler's employee pricing is. And Stu will appreciate this because he'll understand it more, and then we'll explain it. Employee pricing is dealer invoice plus $200 admin fee. Now, we know on this show that dealer invoice contains thousands of dollars in profit. And I got this from ChatGPT, and sometimes ChatGPT does not give you the greatest answer, and perhaps ChatGPT doesn't know about the thousands of dollars that are packed in the invoice prices in a collusion between the manufacturers and the dealers to make the customers think that the dealer cost is truly less than it is. The dealer invoice is not the dealer cost. It contains thousands of dollars in profit. And before the COVID thing, the average profit to the dealer of all cars, when you look at all the holdbacks and packed in the invoice prices, was close to $4,000. Mm-hmm. And every car we used to sell, virtually every car we sold, was below invoice. So now the employee price is dealer invoice. And it's the same thing it was back then as it is now. So
now, here's something I didn't include in the report because at first I thought it was a worksheet, and then and it's a vehicle invoice for the car. Right. And it looks like an official dealer invoice. So he might have shown this. It wasn't mentioned in her notes, or maybe it was, but it showed her this invoice to justify the price. And the invoice price, it says $49.55 for MSRP, and the invoice is $47,688. And it looks a lot like the Toyota invoice, which I'm intimately familiar with. The Toyota invoice spells it out. It gives you the invoice price, and it says how much holdback is built into that, and it's most of the holdback. There's still some more, but most of it is there. On this one, it looks like it's by code. It's really neat. So I see little things that and I've seen things like this in dealer computer programs like CRMs. There can be a code, like even our dealer track DMS. If you know how to read a bunch of random numbers on the bottom, it'll tell you how much gross profit's in the deal. So you can show a customer the thing, and no one can see what the gross is. It's just built in there. Yeah. So this has codes on there, and I'll have ChatGPT analyze it for me, but I think it's telling me that there's $1,421 in holdback, $473 in some other sort of holdback, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of neat. I'm sorry, I'm kind of geeking out on a competitor's invoice here, but I think it's in code.
Well, see, the point is that adds to the fact that this is a collusion. And I'm just amazed that some sharp lawyer out there or law firm, I wish they were listening to the show right now. This has got to be the class action suit of all class action suits, because all the manufacturers and dealers do this. And think of maybe they're afraid to do it because it would destroy the economy of the United States if they went back and made the manufacturers pay back the lie about the invoice. They're letting the customers believe that the invoice is the cost of the car, and it's thousands of dollars less. And if that's not collusion, I don't know what is. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about that, but it's one of my. I've been fighting that idea all my life. It seems like, because since I've been a dealer, and it just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, keeps on going. Here we are. 1/4 of the 21st century is almost under our belt, and we're still messing around with these horse traders.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to vote on the mystery shopping report.
Yes.
And as I remind people, we're great on the curve. Try not to give people F unless they're much worse than the people in the market that they're in. And try not to give people an A unless they're remarkably better, because most dealers are really not. We know almost no dealers that do it right.
Right.
And folks, if you want to vote, don't forget you can text us your vote at 772-497-6530. Tell us what you think about, I like that word that you used, collusion.
Collusion, yeah.
Very appropriate.
No collusion.
And that is for the mystery shopping report, Arrigo CDJR of Margate.
All right.
Let the votes begin.
ChatGPT is the fifth voter in the studio. So here's ChatGPT's take. Arrigo Margate served up a familiar dish. Employee pricing with a side of junk. The $20,000 off promo turned out to be more fiction than fact. Only available if you qualify for every rebate under the sun. Spoiler, you don't. What you do get is nearly $6,000 in garbage fees, including $2,995 for a so-called preferred PPP package, likely fabric spray and wheel locks, $599 for window tint, a shady $795 state fee, and the pièce de résistance, a $1,298 junkie mutation fee. Yes, that's right. Paperwork so expensive you'd think it was printed on gold leaf.
That's funny. I love ChatGPT. I mean, that's funny.
Yeah. Ronald, the salesperson, was friendly enough, but once the pricing smoke cleared, the customers left staring at a number $1,736 over MSRP for a truck that they came in expecting to buy for under $38,000. The verdict? This was bait and switch with a polite smile. The ethics were as foggy as that rainstorm outside. Solid D+, and that's generous.
Well, that's the worst one
Very.
Yeah.
Put out, yeah.
I can't top that. I agree with everything it said. It was definitely worse than the average. So ChatGPT's right on there. Yeah, they hit every bad thing that you can do, from the bait and switch ad, which was really like blatant and obvious looking. I think Jonathan had it on the screen, right? The little web page. It was quite obvious that you were getting a huge. It wasn't even like subtle. But anyway, I'm going to be a little bit harsher. I'm giving them a D-.
I understand.
All righty, and we have Negan 1 says, big fat F for fake fees. Joseph Kelleher, F for junk fees and deceptive advertising. Florida Two-Step says, or South Florida Two-Step, got to get the name right there, F for trying to sell a Ram truck for over $15,000. But in all seriousness, F for trying to sell a vehicle for that much over advertising price and Florida fees. T-Cash says, typical roundabout way to get back to sticker price or more. It's sad people fall for it. F. Over on this channel, we've got Tom Steckel says, I'm using my auto start feature and running away from this deal. Deceptive fees and forced add-ons, D-. Johnny Z. Fradley, false fees, time to flee. F for me. Mark Smith, fake fees, D-. Tim Gilliland, $2,995 for the PPP package? That's $1,000 per P. D-. Brian Sedlatko, false advertisement, F. Cram 1624 says, F. It's time to go away from Arrigo. Fake fees and false advertising. Extreme Ride says F minus infinity. Mark Ryan, F. D-. It's just so much blatant stuff, and
So bad.
The guy Ronald almost seemed proud of it
When he smirked or half smirked, that got me, because it was like he knew what was going on. I mean, not to go on about this, but you know what goes on in the office. Yada, 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 yada. Here's the thing. They're not working for you.
Yep. Bob in Maryland says, first off, they should have offered Agent Lightning a hot dog. If you can read my teeny tiny fine print, it's a huge F. Roadrunner Steve says, they should just go to the food truck, mustard and kraut, no fee. Truck gets an A. Arrigo, a D. And that is all that I've got here. What say you, Earl?
Well, Nancy, what is your, I know what yours is, but I know you take pleasure. What is your vote?
Well, I don't know whether you could say I take pleasure. It's just, separating, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The big crooks from the
And
ordinary crooks.
this is totally unethical, and it gives you a better understanding of the word collusion. And Arrigo gets a F from me.
I'm going to give them an F also, and I hardly ever give them. I think I've done it twice in a row. And I have here in my hand Larry Morgan's cell phone number.
Oh, boy.
And so I'm going to, Larry Morgan really owns a Arrigo Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, whatever it is in Margate. And Larry Morgan is a good man, an honest man. His son also, I believe. And he's got so many dealerships, he doesn't know what's going on. Well, he's going to know what's going on at Margate Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, because I'm going to tell him that I hardly ever fail a dealership, and I'm going to send a copy of the mystery shopping report. So there we go.
Wow. He's going to call his son and go,
yeah,
man, dial it back. All right. So, I think we can say with all confidence, don't go to Arrigo Margate if you're looking for a Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep, or Ram. Is there any other? Did I miss any?
Ram.
Okay, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's it. That's all of them.
Hey, quick note. One of the texts we had earlier from Deck, he said that he found an article where a company that supplies parts for Nissan and Jeep has declared bankruptcy due to the tariff situation. And so that may put a bit of a hurting because they supply internal electronic components for both Nissan and Jeep. So we may see some issues coming soon to really smack Nissan because they're hurting already.
That might be a good thing. Nissans and Jeeps might finally become good because whoever's supplying their parts
obviously isn't.
What a way to wrap
Isn't that
up
funny?
the show.
Nissan
Rick,
and
thank
Jeep,
you.
they're sharing the same part suppliers.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we are going to wrap it up for this morning. We hope you tune in next week. We will be right here in the Oldies channel, the Oldies building, and 8 a.m. We'll be right back here. Have a beautiful weekend, and happy Father's Day to everyone.